welcome to Red River Podcast. We're back with Mike Stack from False Gods, and we're going to keep this October rolling. We like to keep it very horror centric around this time, and today we're going to talk about favorite movies from 2000 to 2009, horror movies. Man, this was way harder. Like when I was like looking through the list, like I knew probably off the top 7 or 8 of the 10 that I knew. I'm like, okay, specifically these are my favorites. And then I kept looking, and I ended up with 15 total. So I guess that's 5 honorable mentions. And so yeah, man, let's kick it off. Mike, I don't know if you have anything you want to shout out before you do your 10.
No, I'm good. I feel like
You got your 10 locked in. You
I
hate
got my
you hate everything. That's why I love everything. You hate
yeah.
everything.
Yeah. I mean, I'll do an honorable mention. My honorable mention is actually in discuss. We talked about it in the last one. Is 30 Days a Night,
Yeah.
which I didn't really like when it came out, and I rewatched it recently, and I was like, this movie is pretty fucking good, actually, man. So if it was top 11, that would probably be 11. But I'll go down. You want me to just start on the fucking number 10 or what?
Yeah, just do 10, and then
Yeah.
we'll round robin it out. So let's just kick off your 10.
All right. My number 10 is one half of the Grindhouse movie that came out in the mid 2000s,
Yep.
which I believe is the far superior entry into that movie, and that is fucking Planet Terror.
I got that later on for sure.
Oh yeah.
All right, so yeah,
Fucking yeah. Then
So
Lane,
when
you're up. We'll talk about it when you're up.
I fucking love that movie. I went to go see that double feature 3 times. That's how much I fucking loved it. All right, so Langan, anything you want to shout out before you do your 10?
I'll shout out before I give my number one. That way, if anybody
okay.
mentions it, then I'll keep my mouth shut on
Oh,
it.
maybe I'll do the same.
All right. My number 10, The Descent. Anybody got that?
No.
No. Just rewatched it actually recently. Watched it with my son. Such a good movie because it's a good movie as a whole because it's actually got characters that are developed in it, that squad of girls and the backstory and what happens with them. But man, if you're remotely claustrophobic, which I do have that tendency, kind of runs in my family, it's fucking pretty uncomfortable. Before the creatures are even introduced, when those people, and that goes for any like YouTube video, where these people get into these fucking caves, and I mean, it's fucking insane. That is the only thing that makes it worse is the people that do it underwater, like from that like documentary that came popular the
Yeah,
other
those
year. I can't
those
remember.
those kids that got like trapped under there.
Exactly. So this movie's got all that working for it, which affects me and stuff. But the creatures were fucking fantastic, and the violence was savage. I think it's a fantastic film. Still holds up.
So I believe the director of that movie. I was just trying to watch Dog Soldiers. I keep
Neil
starting the movie.
Marshall.
I keep starting the movie, and I just almost like just lose interest. Like, but people love it. People fucking love it, and I'm just like I keep restarting it. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm into it. So I'm gonna do my honorables now. So fuck it.
Okay.
So I have Wolf Creek, which I thought was a really, really good bleak, just like slasher movie. Very simple, unlike the second one, which is a little bit more over the top. Identity, which I will consider a horror movie, 100%. Just what a great twist. There's a movie called Laid to Rest, which was just brutal and overlooked. You didn't like it, Mike?
Bro, that's the Chrome Skull movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's a decent slasher.
Yeah. Final Destination 2. And my last honorable mention was what you mentioned, Mike, which 30 Days of Night, which I saw it in theaters and I immediately loved it. I didn't like I liked the first half of the movie more than I liked the last half of the movie. That's why I didn't make the top 10. But like when you want to talk about like brutal vampires, like I like movies that make me feel like, okay, there's no hope in here. Like like how are they going to get past what's going on here?
Yeah, it's not romantic. Yeah, your food. That's the fucking moral of that movie. Your fucking food.
You're not like, how is this even possible? So those are my 5. And in no particular order, because I just can't do it. My number 10 is Frailty.
Good call.
Anyone have that? Okay.
My
All
number
right.
3, baby.
I
So-
didn't only because I think I talked about it when we talked about Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it totally would have been on. I love that film.
So Mike has it higher up on his list. I'm going to wait to talk about it because it's just, goddamn masterpiece. So, Mike, number 9.
Number 9, the third Stephen King, Frank Darabont joint effort, The Mist,
Nice.
which is obviously known for its ridiculously bleak ending, but besides that ending, there is a fucking really, really good fucking movie before it, and some of the special effects suck some dick a little bit in it, but if you can get past the first shitty special effect, that movie fucking rules.
Right.
What was it not purposeful though? Because like when I saw it, I thought it was like, I think originally didn't they want to do it in black and white? That's
I
why
think they wanted to do it in black and white, and then the studio didn't agree. And this is just me semi-remembering anything. So if any Mist nerds out there are like, "Fuck, you don't know what you're talking about," then I apologize.
Hugo.
But I thought because I know they re-released it in black and white.
Yeah.
But I just know, like just the first time I saw it, I was like, "Ooh, this doesn't look that." It looked like sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think
rewatching a lot of stuff from this era, and that CGI really was not quite as good as it is then, but it was better than it was before. There was I saw a couple of films in this era that I was rewatching, and I was like,
yeah.
But I almost feel like I said, like originally, like the black and white thing. So like if that was how it originally came out, I feel like that was the flavor. You see that special effect, which is kind of jarring when you first see it. You're like, you guys sure about this one? But so maybe it made more sense in that context. But still, I mean, great movie. Langan.
Some people don't like this film, but I do. Ty West, House of the Devil.
Aesthetics through the roof, but I didn't like it.
Yeah, it's got a it's that pace of it is kind of just why I liked it. I don't know, maybe I saw a lot of shit that was frantic in that era, so it was like the retro feel of it. I think is just so impressive. I like how patient it is. I love Noonan and Warnoff in it. And I remember being excited about this young director too, that he's done a lot of great shit so far, and I look forward to everything he does.
Yeah. No judgment.
But I get why people don't like it.
I'm due for a rewatch because like I said,
me too.
No judgment here.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I saw it once and I remember the intro and I was like, oh, this is cool. I'm like, this is like straight up 70s, like font and everything. And then by the end of the movie, I was just like, oh yeah, this is not what I thought it was going to be.
I think it's still up on, I think you can watch Joe Bob. Joe Bob does it on one of the seasons. I think it's still up on Shudder.
Yeah. Then I would like to see it because
if you rewatch it, you might as well do it that way.
I am due for a rewatch. All right. So my next one is a movie that we talked about last episode or 2 episodes ago. May. I think Lucky McKee's May, a movie that I watched within like the last probably 10 years for the first time, and I was just fucking blown away. I've never seen a movie handle awkwardness and like mental illness and like homicidal tendencies like this. Like it's a really sad movie. And not that many characters, but super effective about this just girl who just wants to be loved in the worst way. Yeah. And I often compare it to the movie Pieces because I genuinely feel like that's really what it is, just a better version of it. And it's just great. It should be up on Tubi, and it's fucking fantastic. Definitely. Absolutely top 10 of this era for me. So.
Yeah, agree. Totally great fucking movie. Angela Bettis is fucking fantastic in it, man. Yeah, fucking. I haven't actually watched that movie probably in about 15 years, but I remember when I watched it, I fucking loved it.
Do a rewatch because I've seen it like 3 times in like the last 10, And because yeah, my girlfriend didn't watch it. That was a movie that she connected with, where she was just like, "Holy shit, this is like
Yeah.
definitely brutal." So, and it's brutal in a way that's so real,
Mhm.
like it's not like over the top, but you're just, like the characters are like, you could feel her like loneliness and sadness, and you're like, God damn, you're
Yeah.
pathetic.
Yeah. She's mentally ill, you know
She's
what I
she's
mean?
Yeah.
she's genuinely mentally ill, yeah, and
Yeah.
and it really fucking comes across. So,
Yeah.
next one, Mike.
All right. The next one is I forget the year, but I know it's from the timeline. It is I believe it was a Spanish film called The Orphanage.
Yeah,
Nice. Yep.
Was just a
Yeah.
straight up great fucking ghost story. Creepy as fuck. Just a lot. When I first saw it, I fell in love with it. I haven't watched it in a little while, but I just remember that movie fucking just totally sad, fucking eerie fucking vibe, just all around, man. Just like that. That movie hit me hard when I saw it, so I had to put it on my fucking list.
I saw that in theaters
Mm-hmm.
around, so like, because I remember Pan's Labyrinth had come out, and maybe this
Mm-hmm.
was like a
Right.
year or two after, and I feel like Del Toro might have been like a producer on this or
Yeah,
something.
he didn't. Yeah, he didn't direct it all. I think he just produced it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just was like, whoa. Like, by the time the
Yeah.
movie's over, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
this is a good one,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Langan, next one.
I got from 2007 French film Inside.
I got that
I
higher up.
You got it higher up?
Yep.
Okay, we'll save that.
All right, so on with the list. Here we go. I got Slither. James,
That was an
Yeah.
honorable mention.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right, so then we'll talk about that. So let's just keep going. Stack next.
All right. My number 7. It's funny because we talked about this. I don't know, maybe like 20 minutes ago. Is Shadow of the Vampire?
Nice.
Yeah, just fucking William Dafoe as Nosferatu, fucking killing it. Malkovich, Eddie fucking Izzard, everybody in the movie.
Oh yeah,
Just
Eddie Izzard
fucking,
too.
yeah, just doing the whole Nosferatu story with a real vampire and Oscar nominated performance by William Dafoe, man. I loved it when it came out. I rewatched it and still just as good. It's fucking, and he probably did deserve. I don't know who fucking won for the best actor, but he probably did deserve the Oscar for that. He fucking killed
Yeah.
it.
Did he ever win? I don't even know.
Dafoe?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, born
Ever-
loser.
Because he's still making like some wild ass movies, man. Like him and fucking Antichrist.
Oh yeah.
He's got some like,
Florida Project, that was fucking awesome. Was that the name of it?
yeah. He's in a new movie called Inside. I think.
I heard
Yeah,
that was terrible.
it was pretty bad. It was pretty
Oh,
bad.
okay, yeah. So I didn't watch it.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
scratch
yeah.
it.
He gets locked in an apartment. It's
Yes, yeah.
I wanted to like it. I love William Dafoe, but I just after I was like, fuck this movie.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hey, listen, sometimes I get it,
Yeah.
sometimes you just go to work,
He was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for Platoon, Shadow of the Vampire, The
Yeah.
Florida Project. Never won Best Actor at Eternity's Gate. Nominated for, I think he played, what was it, Picasso maybe or some shit. I think that one.
Always a bridesmaid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next one, Langan.
Oh, where am I at here? I got this might come up later with one of you guys. Trick or Treat.
Yep. That's
Okay.
that's my next
I'll
one.
sit on that too.
No, that's
Okay.
yeah, it's my next.
So we could speak on. I mean, I love a good anthology. You set an anthology around the Halloween season too. I'm there already, and then you fill it with an iconic character, the Sam character, which is fantastic. Made me actually feel the scene with the bus and the kids. Like it actually kind of like makes me sad. Makes me fucking actually feel something, which is rare nowadays. It's such a fun film. Great cast too. And the way it just came out, I remember it was so weird. Like the whole story, it never got like officially. That could have been huge in a theater release or something, and it just kind of quietly came out. you know.
Well, so it was made in 2007, or it was released in 2007, but it didn't really get released till like it might have been like after.
Yeah.
Might have
2011 or something like that. It was fucking
Yeah.
mad later. Yeah.
Because I remember our buddy Rob G mentioned it. He's like, "Oh my god, I saw this movie, and it's like the Pulp Fiction of horror movies." Because he was like, knee deep in the horror shit in L.A. And he kept talking about this movie. I was like, "Oh my god, this is gonna be so good, so good." And like, it just fucking like years later, like I'm like, "How is this movie still not out?" And I remember when it came out, it was just like a VOD. It was just like a rental. It's like, oh, I
Yeah.
guess I'm just gonna rent this movie, and nothing. It was just this. Oh, okay, cool. This came out, and I think it wasn't until like Michael Dougherty did Krampus,
Yeah.
and a couple of other things where people like, oh, he also made this movie called Trick or Treat, which is like this
Yeah.
anthology, but it's like super connected. And when you think about it,
He was the co-writer, I believe, of the Superman Returns or something like that, from the mid 2000s as well, and that's kind of how he got his movie made, because he co-wrote that, and then I think that maybe tanked, and then that's why they kind of held back or something like that. I forget the exact story, but I know he co-wrote Superman Returns, and then something like, and it was like he wrote this horror anthology, and it took 5 years or whatever to fucking come out. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Langan, email him so we can get the story straight.
Yeah,
I'm on it.
but yeah, so you figure this guy makes Krampus, which I think is fucking fantastic. I think it's a really great modern day classic for Christmas, and then he has this horror anthology for Halloween. Like, I mean, that's pretty.
He makes
great.
a fun, tight, clean horror picture. You know, he's got a knack for it.
But yeah, all the segments are great. Like it really just it's super Halloween. Like, very very October centric. So
yeah, it's a staple. I watch it every year. You know.
Yeah. Currently up on HBO as well. So here we go. Number 6, Mike.
Number 6. So I was a little torn between 28 days later and 28 weeks later. So I was like, which one? So you know what? I was like, fuck it, Sunshine.
Oh wow, that's a good one.
Outer fucking Space, which it was sold as a sci-fi movie, and halfway through that movie, you're like, this is a fucking horror movie. And then by the end of the movie, you're like, this is a crazy slasher fucking horror movie. Fucking that movie is probably one of, if not my favorite Danny Boyle movies. It gets so goddamn crazy, and it's basically just like 12 people dying a horrible death in space.
Did you ever watch that, Langan?
No,
you should.
I'm writing it down.
Yeah,
it's right now.
I didn't know about it. Like, I probably watched it maybe like a few years after its release. And it's called Sunshine. I wasn't really thinking anything of it. And you watch it, you're like, oh, this is a cool sci-fi movie with a cool plot. And then from there, it turns into madness. And you're like,
okay,
this is horrifying.
Yeah, I'm like, this is like a horror movie. This is like like legitimately a horror movie that you would never have known. This forgotten time. 2007, I think, was when it was released. Like, there was that weird time in the time that we're covering where like direct to video, like I think maybe streaming had started like towards like the end, or like maybe the Netflix was doing DVDs and stuff. Like, there was like a good portion of movies that got lost in the sauce. I remember when I watched Idiocracy for the first time, I rented it from Blockbuster, and I was just like, how did this movie come out? Because usually, everything that comes out, you see it in theaters. You're like, okay, unless it's like, Ice Cream Man or fucking The Dentist, and you're like, all right, this is direct, certain things. But then there was that time where it was just like, I guess that's where everything started getting fragmented and different ways of like releasing things.
Yeah. Well, Sunshine actually did come out in the movie theater.
Oh no, yeah, for sure, yeah. But I mean, there was just so many. Like, that was like around the time that like these movies just started popping up. Like I jokingly mentioned Ving Rhames. Like, I'm like, how did this guy make like 100 movies that never even came out? But certain things did get lost in the sauce, and for me, Yeah, like Sunshine did, and a few other things did. But so Mike, Sunshine, Langan, up to you. 6.
Final Destination 2.
I had
Anybody?
I had that as my honorables.
Okay. Yeah, listen, one of the best sequels of all time, I think. That's a hell of a consistent franchise. I didn't see it when it first all came out. I kind of caught up on that series after the fact. I wasn't like into it right off the jump or whatever, because it just looked like a little new school. I thought I like that look a little glossy to me. I still like the grainier, older shit at that time. But when I did get around to watching, I was like, God damn, this is a solid ass franchise. Unlimited potentials for how to do kills and whatnot. Uh, Great tie-ins with everything. But man, just what a sequel. And that intro scene on the highway and whatnot. I mean, it's fucking legendary. It's a super fun film. Still holds up. I can never get sick of watching it.
I always mention it, right? So around that time, weird for horror, even a little bit before that, I was just like, this garbage, garbage, garbage. It wasn't until like the J horror and the French stuff started coming in where I'm
Mm.
like, oh, this is cool. Like, okay, this is different again. I remember sitting at the Velvet Lounge in Stony Brook, and it was on Halloween. DJ Slim Jim was, maybe he was doing like karaoke, he was doing something, but so like in October, like he would have like a flat screen behind him showing death scenes. And I just remember one day looking up at this scene because there's no audio, it's just music and all this shit going on. And I'm like watching this scene with a fucking log truck. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this? This is like the intro to Final Destination 2 was so fucking over the top. And they're like, oh, that's Final Destination 2. And I was like, I felt like an idiot going like, oh man, I thought this was like some like teen garbage movie. I didn't really give a fuck. And then I watched the first one, which was cool, but the sequel I liked even more. You know, like I was just like, oh, this is really good. And then from there, just turned into like, okay, how are we going to kill these like new kids? But I think the first two are like really the sweet spot for the franchise. And yeah, that's a great one. But I ignored it as well. So my next one is Eden Lake.
Ah,
Nice.
that's my 4, baby.
Okay, so I guess we're gonna wait and talk about that one. So let's do your number 5.
I bet you dollars to motherfucking donuts. My number 5 is gonna have to be weighted to talk about too. My number 5 is Martyrs.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Langan, what's your number 5?
The Strangers.
You know,
Anyone got that?
I didn't give it the honorable mention.
Yeah.
It was specifically because when I first watched it, I didn't like it. It wasn't
Mhm.
until later on that I really appreciated for the Halloween-esque movie that it was.
Yeah, the home invasion craze of the early 2000s, the funny games. There was so many. Actually, I had an honorable mention come up later called Ills, which
Yeah,
it's a
them.
French film. Yes, exactly, and which
Yeah.
was amazing. But yeah, listen, a great cast. I love the villains, super creepy. The look, they nailed it. The fucking potato sack on that guy's head, which still I agree is the best Jason is potato sack head Jason. Um, but that scene in the trailer got me right away where he steps out of the shadows. We all know the shot where she's facing the camera in the front of the screen, and you see the characters come up out of the darkness just enough to show the face and stuff. And I don't know, it just got me because the home invasion, listen, that's a thing that could happen, unlike a lot of
Yeah,
supernatural
Yeah.
shit. We've said this before, you know what I mean? But
the final frontier of horror. Like it's like the
yeah,
last thing where you're like, unless you got a strap in the house.
right. And the whole thing, why are you doing this to me? Because you were home. And it was loosely based on on the Folger, right?
I think so,
The
yeah.
that night with the Manson family or whatnot. But God, I love it. And I love the sequel too. Shout out to Damien.
So later on, I appreciated more. Like I watched it after the theater because I saw it in theaters and I was just like, I don't know, I wasn't there. And then when I watched it later on, I was like, oh yeah, this is like, it really is like Halloween. Like it's just this thing and you're there and it's so slow and methodical
Mhm.
that I really appreciated. I just rewatched it not too long ago, and it's great. Like the music playing in the
Yes,
background, the
sure.
accidental shooting, a lot of this stuff of like, and then the masks are just great. So yeah. So that brings me to my number 5, which is Saw.
Mhm.
Okay. Saw,
Yeah.
I saw that 2004 movie theaters. To me, this was like a game changer, I think. The way like Scream was, or like certain things was, it was like a different, like, ushering of just like, the torture porn stuff. And I love that shit. It was a very unique thing to watch these contraptions on, just like we were talking about Final Destination, like how are these people going to die. I was in from beginning to, I still got to watch Saw X. I didn't get a chance to.
Yeah, me neither.
uh but like I just mentioned it because Karen wanted to see it, but I'm like, you didn't even. Karen saw 1, 2, and 3, hasn't seen 4 through 9, and still wants me to wait for her to watch X. I'm thinking like,
It
why?
probably doesn't matter though.
I know, but still, I can't go see the fucking movie because you haven't seen the last
Right.
fucking 4, 5 of them. But anyway, uh, just great. I loved it. To me, it's just it was one of those things that really worked. And I know it's like a polarizing film, like the Hostels, but it blows away Hostel in my opinion, obviously. So,
Yeah.
Saw is my number 5. So what do we got? 4, Mike?
Yep. Number 4 is what we talked about before, Eden Lake.
Yep.
Yeah. Eden Lake is another one of those movies that is fucking suspense coming out the fucking wazoo. And the ending is a punch to the fucking dick.
Yeah.
No, it
Yep.
is fucking. You're like, I was like, how? It's one of those. How is she getting out of this? I don't want to ruin it for anybody if they haven't seen it, but it's not. It does not turn out the way you think it does.
No.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
and what I love are characters that make you want to jump through the screen and physically hurt them.
Yeah.
One of the main characters that I left out for the
Mhm.
episode we did about the the male roles was the kid in Killing of a Sacred Deer.
I
You
Oh
know,
have
yeah.
doing him sacred deer.
he was such like, I'm like, I want to fucking beat the shit out of this fucking little dickhead.
Mm,
You gotta watch it, Mike. He is just
I'm
such a
sure.
he's
I'm
that's
sure.
such
awesome.
he is such a little fucking cock. And that's how these fucking kids are. You're like, oh man, you guys are fucking little shits.
Oh yeah,
Don't
assholes.
don't let me get in that screen. I'll fucking smack all you around.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, man, Eden Lake is just like, you didn't have it, Langan, on your list?
I had it on my underrated.
Under
Remember?
okay,
So
yeah,
I
yeah,
just talked about it. Yeah,
yeah,
so I
yeah.
left it on.
So yeah, man, it's great. It's always streaming. I think it's on
Yep.
like on Tubi or whatever the fuck. It's a movie that doesn't really get mentioned that much. I know Bloody Disgusting just recently did like a little piece on it, talking about how it's just like a movie that you should definitely watch. It's just, the evil that men do type film, just
Yeah.
like the evil in human beings and what you could do to each other, and it's super effective, very bleak if that's what you're into. So cool. That's your number 4. Then Langan, number 4.
Yeah.
I got the Devil's Rejects, which I touched upon in the last show, but it's it's a 10 for me because it's just super fun, entertaining, gives me the savagery of the horror I want, plus a lot of humor in it. I love how again it's Zombie's best thing that he's probably ever produced musically or whatever in his life, maybe since White Zombie, but uh great cast, a lot of throwback nods to Ken Foray casting him, or even Mary Warnoff. She gets dragged out of a car in the beginning. Quick little scenes. You got PJ Souls popping in there, like a nice nod to all these icons of horror and stuff that you didn't see a lot, up till then at the time, pulling them out. So the tribute is there. It's kind of a loving treatment to a completely savage, grindhousey, kind of dirty fucking horror movie.
What I love about, you could shit on Eli Roth and, Rob Zombie all you want,
Hmm.
and we do.
Yep.
But those guys love horror, So when it comes to like, you know, those old school, you know, throwbacks or like putting people in those roles, they love doing that. You
Hmm.
know, they love paying that homage to these characters and these actors, and I love that. That's awesome.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
that was your number four.
That was my four.
I love Mike because he texted me that he's gonna be off camera. I'm thinking like you could have just said it on camera. Like he thinks we're run.
I
He
don't want
he
to interrupt the flow.
he thinks we're running a real operation here.
We just did some ad reads,
Yeah.
so you got back. Blue Chew.
Blue Chew. I was gonna say Blue Chew. Wow, why was I gonna say Blue Chew too?
Yeah.
All right. So my number four is Triangle, which I talked about underrated movies episode.
Hmm.
Melissa George, man, just it's a time loop movie, and that's all I'm gonna say about it. You know, this ship, you know, everyone ends up on there, and they get hit by a wave, and then next thing you know, they're you know, the girl's going through this time loop, and it's just one of the most creative things you will ever see, one of the best endings you will ever see. Just absolutely fantastic stuff right there. Triangle from 2007, because I think there's like a couple of other ones, you know, like you know, sometimes, you know, with a movie like Triangle, you know, it's not very distinct. So you could end up with you know, sometimes people are like, oh, is it this one? Is it this one? So it's the one with Melissa George, and I think it's from like 2007. So
Yep.
uh go on without me for a second. The internet just went out. I love it.
All right.
So that was my number four. Langan.
We'll let him catch you up when he
Yeah.
can rattle off what he's got. But I was waiting on this one for him, but my number three is Planet Terror, the half of
Okay.
the Grindhouse film, which I also saw in theaters, which didn't do well in theaters because I don't think people really knew what, unless you were ahead per film, like you probably didn't even know like a double feature or even get what they were going for with the whole thing and those trailers and Tarantino, the look of his film and whatnot. But anyway, if you knew films of that era, I mean, this hit it right on the head of being a parody of the films of that genre, but a loving parody, and also brought the complete gore and disgusting parts of it. Like it works on two levels. And it's just super entertaining. And the music, the score, it just the look, the granular look of the film. It's super fun and a great cast.
Yeah, I fucking loved it. And like you said, so you figure that was like 2007. I think by
Yeah.
this time these guys were very established, and
Hmm.
maybe some people didn't really understand like the origins of where they came from, because as soon as you just start watching these movies, you're like, oh, I know this movie that he's going for with
Hmm.
both of them, because they're
Right.
these like really shitty like they're good versions of bad movies. That's really what
Hmm.
it is, but while still doing like a tongue-in-cheek thing, like when
Sure.
he's talking about El Rey, you know, like these like dramatic pauses and stuff like that. The missing reels are great. uh and think I guess it was a lot to have people to sit through, and you figure Death Proof was even super edited. I think he took out, I'm gonna have to say, like 35-40 minutes from whatever he put in, um you know, to make, I guess, to not have people sit there for 4 hours, which
It's
is,
only going to work at like a Nighthawk kind of thing with
yeah,
those kind of people that
yeah,
want to do that kind of thing. Otherwise, you're putting that in an island, multiplex or whatever. And they're like, wait, we're going to charge one ticket for this 3 hour plus thing and not
yeah,
turn over X amount of dollars. And who the fuck wants this? I think they couldn't be done with it quick enough.
yeah. I mean,
So,
I loved it. So, and
it's awesome.
in all reality, the fact that I put Laid to Rest in over it in my honorable mentions is funny, but I just assumed someone was going to mention it, you know.
Yeah.
So let's see what Mike's saying. Should be popping in.
Okay.
Ba-dam, bam, ba-dam, bang. Ding, ding, ding. ding, 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 ding. Oh, there he is. I forgot I have to approve him. I totally forgot I had to let you back in.
Okay.
There you go.
Sorry. Where we at? I'm sorry.
We're on what was your number 4?
My number 4 was Eden Lake.
Oh, Eden Lake. Okay, so Langan brought up the Grindhouse double feature, so that's what we just talked about. So anything you want to add to it?
Oh no, the Planet Terror. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Just like I said, definitely the stronger of the 2 entries. Fucking everybody fucking kills it in that. You got Jeff Fahey, you got
Yep.
Michael Biehn, you got
Yep.
Tom Savini, you got
Bruce Willis.
Yeah, you got Bruce Willis, you got Quentin Tarantino being annoying as fuck. You know what I mean?
And his rotting crotch.
Yeah. No, it's fucking Planet Terror. Like I said, when I first saw it, I first saw the double feature in the theater, man, and that after there was no beating it. The Death Proof had stood no chance.
Yeah, so it was an interesting, thing to sit through because Death Proof was like slower than slower, and in comparison to the 2 for sure. I still loved it, and goddamn those fake trailers, man. I'm so happy to see Thanksgiving finally seeing the light of day. But yeah, Planet Terror is just like, I mean, like when with the nurse, with like Josh Brolin, and the nurse with the fucking dude,
fucking hands,
the dude with the fucking like thing on his thing that he pop, the pimple on his face that he pops,
and the twins.
The fucking the twins are his actual babysitters. Rodriguez's babysitters that he threw him in there. The fact that he puts his son in the movie just to shoot himself in the face, like when he's like she's like, hey, stop playing that revolver. Like I'm thinking, like you made this movie, you put your son in the movie, and in the movie he kills himself. Like you're a fucking animal. I love it. God damn it. So my number 4 was Triangle. So I guess we're down to number 3, Mike.
Number 3 was Frailty. I know that was.
Oh yeah, me and you.
Yeah. So Frailty, probably that's Bill Paxton's directorial debut. Fucking straight up great fucking horror movie with him killing it in it. McConaughey just fucking being McConaughey, pretending he's part of the movie. Just fucking I loved it. I loved the twist ending.
Yeah.
I love the fact that like you are convinced that Bill Paxton thinks he's actually killing fucking demons.
Yeah.
He's so good in it that you like, if I was his kid, I'd be like, well, yeah, obviously we gotta do this because they're fucking demons, bro.
Yo, and shout out to Powers Booth, man. Yeah, that's a fucking guy, from Extreme Prejudice, like to the fucking HBO detective show, like
Deadwood.
I fucking like
Tombstone.
That was just a great fucking cast, and a movie. Once again, a movie. So I probably around I saw it 8 years after the release because people, ironically enough, were making top favorite movies of the decade, and they were counting down this decade that we're doing. And Frailty made it to so many goddamn lists, but once again in 2002, I was just not looking for it because nothing was like really scratching that itch the way the 80s or 90s did for me. And I was like, yo, people keep bringing up Frailty, but in my head I'm thinking Bill Paxton and fucking Wooderson. I'm like, I'm just not watching this. And it kept ending up on lists. And I watched it and I was like, wow, shame on me. This is fucking great. Like, this is fucking great. So that's why it was on my list. So, all right. Number 3, Langan.
3 or 2? Am I at?
Oh, yeah, you should be on 3 because I didn't do my number 3 unless I skipped myself. What was your
We
number
got
3?
so many that we were my 3 was Planet Terror.
Okay, yeah. So
that's because we jumped back to him because he was out. Okay. So this is my number two. My number two, it's a horror comedy, but it's fucking perfect. Shaun of the Dead. Uh, works as it's tough to pull off. A lot of horror comedies every now and then, they get it right, but sometimes they're either lacking element or the other. This is done solid comedy by comedic guys, actors, whatnot, but true, lovers of the genre. You can tell big Romero fans. They're completely respectful to the genre. And I mean, just brilliant writing, brilliant characters, brilliant acting. It's hilarious, and there's fucking gore in it too. It's great. It's a perfect film. Still
Yeah.
holds up.
Seeing that in theaters, a lot of fun.
Yep.
So I guess, yeah, maybe I skipped myself. My number three. So my top three are just French, 100%. High tension. High tension is what I put in. I remember watching this for the first time, and as soon as you cut to the dude in the truck getting a blowjob from a severed head.
Oh Jesus!
I was like, okay. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here, but this is going to be good. Right? And then the home invasion started, and like they moved this like fucking dresser and it decapitates him. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is like? This is fucking brutal. I know it's a very polarizing thing because everyone hates that ending. I know Langan, you famously hate that ending of High Tension. But
I love the film, and there's so much good shit about it, but it bothers me that like I don't know that it was kind of late. Like it just didn't check out, and I will suspend disbelief, but I thought it was just kind of unnecessary. I guess it should have, but it's a fucking great movie. Other than that part.
I'm a complete moron, and you gave me about 85 minutes worth of just pure violence. That if you want to do something weird with the last 10 minutes, I'm gonna be like, you know what, thank you. Like it's fine.
Yeah,
Like
it feels like a bit of a cop out, a little bit, but
they didn't need to do it. They delivered this awesome piece of work. Like, what the fuck you gotta put the twist in there? Like, not even make it make sense. Get the fuck out of here.
They're like sitting there in France at that table, and they're like, and then at the end, it's the girl, and everyone at the table is probably like, but that
fucking
doesn't make
Pepe Le Pew over here.
They're like, but that doesn't make a sense. And then they're like, fuck it anyway. And then they put it in, and then that's fine. So I respect it. They're just like, whatever, man. It's like, what do you want from me? The guy is getting his dick sucked by a severed head, man. So that's my number three. Mike, how many do you have left? Because I think we
2.
All right, so give me your number 2.
Number 2, which is one you mentioned before, is Slither.
Oh yeah.
Fucking yeah, just put one of the, that is some fucked up shit. I fucking love that movie. Nathan Fillion kills it. Just Night of the Creeps homage, zombie movie homage, just everything. James Gunn threw everything at the horror from the horror kitchen sink at that fucking screen, man. Michael Rooker killing it yet again. Just fucking It's just so much fucking fun. It really is. That
is a fucking movie. All right, so that Rooker was great. He was so awkward when he gets that shit thrown into his belly button, I think, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's like trying to like kick it to Elizabeth, his wife, and like he's turning into like this like fucking like snake and shit. James Gunn coming from like fucking the Troma universe and having a budget. And he basically makes a fucking Troma movie with a fucking budget. Like it's super Night of the Creeps for sure. The girl who's got like, she's like the incubator and she's like blowing up. I saw that in theaters and I was just like, holy shit, was this fucking so much fun.
Oh yeah.
And to this day, you just put it on, you're like, wherever it is in that anytime you put it on, wherever it is, it doesn't even matter. Like from beginning to end, it's just so fucking ridiculous. It's so gross. Like the end where I guess everything, it's almost like the shunting. It's like society.
Yeah.
It's like completely like just like this like fucking combining of like flesh and grossness. Like, yo, seriously, watch the end of fucking Slither and you're like, this fucking vile. Absolutely fucking vile.
Yep.
Yeah, top notch. Absolutely fucking
Yeah.
goddamn top notch horror movie. So, Langan, so what do you have left
My number one.
on number one?
I'm
So
down to.
we'll get back to you. I have Inside. Did anybody have Inside?
I had Inside. I was holding on to it. Yeah.
All right, so yeah, so let's talk Inside.
Yeah. I just actually rewatched it this morning because it had been a minute. And I remember watching that with my wife and when we were talking about having kids and whatnot. And that movie hits
Good one.
hard
Right.
when you're thinking about that shit. And because you're sympathizing, I mean, the main character, she's pregnant, so she's already vulnerable, but then you're seeing shots inside the womb of the baby reacting to these savage acts and being stabbed in the stomach. And I'm a huge Beatrice Dahl fan from back in the day. I love her. I always had a crush on her. The villain in this thing, going with the David Letterman gap tooth there. But truly savage. As savage as you've seen a pregnant lady could be treated in a horror film, maybe in your entire life. But you're on the edge of the seat. So many chances of her to get away. It is a home invasion in a way. You can lump it into that, but it's more than that. And just the French could bring in it in this period of time. What do you got?
This was like interchangeable with my number one. Because they're both like just no questions for me. My top two, like everything else was like whatever I just listed them. My top two are my top two. As soon as I knew we were making this, it's gonna be Martyrs or Inside. So those are my flip for sure. Just like you said, it's a home invasion movie, but then by the end you kind of like realize what it is, and just like. You're like, oh,
Yeah, the
okay,
twist is crazy too. Yeah.
So the twist of that, and you're thinking like, how can you make something this violent and entertaining with these like set pieces that are pretty much just like one or two places and a few characters, but god damn, it's just pure. This movie is pure fucking violence, and I love that you were
It's
talking
so savage
to
that sorry,
your wife. You're talking to your wife about having kids. I mean. You guys couldn't. It was between this or renting like It's
Well, it wasn't
Alive.
like we started having the conversation that night and rented it. I mean,
Yeah.
that time of period we were talking like, we're gonna enter this phase of life and shit. You know what I mean? So like you're thinking about things in a different way, and it's like, whoa, this shit is fucking sad. It's so savage that America didn't even remake it, make a shitty remake of it. They didn't even want to touch it.
They did.
Did they?
Yeah, there's a remake.
Glad I didn't know that.
There's a remake to Martyrs and there's a remake to Inside. Yeah.
Martyrs I knew. Yeah, Inside I didn't even know about.
Yeah. So cool. So me and Mike, right? What's your number one?
My number one?
No, Stack.
My number one? Oh, I thought that was your number one or that was your number two?
That was my number two. Martyrs is my number one, but you have that at 5. So what's your number one?
Oh, my number one? Okay, my number one is a movie. The first time I saw it, kind of upset the fucking shit out of me. Still fucking watch it once in a while. Holds up to this day. Fucking Guillermo del Toro's The Devil's Backbone.
Oh, I've never seen that.
2001 fucking
So
ghost
good.
story. Takes place during the Spanish Civil War, just like fucking Pan's Labyrinth. It is fucking... No, is it the Mexican Civil War? Sorry. It is fucking creepy as fuck. It's got everything. The ending is a fucking mind blower. What happens to everybody in this fucking...
I gotta watch it. I never seen it.
Dude, it's so good. The Devil's Backbone. It's right between Kronos and it's right between Kronos and Blade 2.
Yeah, okay.
But it's was like his follow up to Kronos, like his serious horror movie, creepy as fuck, hell of a ghost story, just fucking unbelievable movie, tragic, fucking. It's got a little bit of everything. It's fucking awesome.
Wow, I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah.
Good call.
Langan, number one.
Let's see. Before my number one, my honorables, I have Ills, Them, as we talked about before. Wreck, whatever you want to call it, the Spanish found footage style, which it can be a hit or miss, but I think this series does it as good as anybody could do it. Slither, which you guys spoke about, Let the Right One In, the first one, the
Oh
remake
yeah,
of
yeah,
that wasn't bad either, but I
yeah.
do love Let the Right One In. It's a sweet story.
Good call. Good call.
Hostel Part Two. I actually like Part Two better than Part One. I like the peek behind the curtain as of the people that are bidding on these kind of activities. I find it even more fascinating than just showing the victims and whatnot. I like
You're
the
you're
whole
uh you're you're an aristocrat.
I'm a fancy pants. But
Yeah.
my number one, I talked about Christian Bale in the last episode, American Psycho. That's my number one. I can
Oh
watch
wow.
it anytime it's
Yeah.
on. I can rewatch it. It's one of those things like Goodfellas is on TV. I'll pick it up at any point. I love how you can watch it with like two mindsets of this is all like real and happening and he's really a killer, or watch it in the mindset of this is all some delusion in his head of him just trying to show that he exists because nobody believes when he confesses that he does all this shit. So it's shot in a way that you could watch it with a completely different mindset and get something completely different each time, and I love that about it.
Did you watch the sequel with Mila Kunis?
Oh,
Ugh, fucking real. I knew it was going to be terrible,
yeah.
and like it was obviously one of those things they just slapped out because
Yeah.
What wasn't William
it's got the
Shatner in it?
title. Yes, I mean it's a disaster. But I don't even think I finished it. But
Yeah.
I saw American Psycho in theaters and I fucking hated it. I hated it.
because it was based on a book. Is that what you were like?
Yeah. I know.
Fuck this shit.
I was like, Less Than Zero is great. Let's see about this. Yeah, I just didn't subscribe to the ending, but I think I just was too dumb for it. I think if I watch it now, I think I would appreciate it more, just because now knowing the movie and how it ended, I'm like, you know what, that is kind of cool. So that's a movie I definitely need to rewatch. And I'm pretty sure both are up on HBO. HBO really stocked up this for October.
I think that network's going to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. They still on Channel 6?
Yeah.
I got to move the rabbit ears.
My number one, I knew without question, Martyrs. I just remember seeing this movie and, the plot isn't really, right. Like you don't get the plot right away. You're like, all right, what's going on? And everything that's happening is just very unique and you're just peeling away at this onion. But by the time you get to like 3/4 into the movie and you kind of realize what's happening, I just remember thinking like, I've never seen a plot like this. It's like super mean spirited. The, certain things, movies that make you feel stuff like the beatings at the end of this movie went on for so long that I'm just like, oh my God, like fucking Christ. Like, all right, guys, like we get it. Like you don't have to like have a 10-minute, of somebody getting beaten. It's still like nothing I've ever seen before. The fact that they remade it, I've never seen it, but like I'm almost like morbidly curious as to what the American version is like, if it's good or not. But yeah, Martyrs, when people talk about best horror movies of like the last like 20 plus years, because I know we'll probably make this list again for 2010 to 2019. So we'll do that episode. Yeah, man, it's just fucking great. I can't say enough about Martyrs. So Mike, I know you had it number 5.
Yeah. Peeling away being the fucking key fucking phrase there, man. Just fucking, the movie, I've only seen it once. I never want to fucking watch it again. I have the utmost respect for it, and it's definitely belongs on this list. But I feel like I'm throwing bad karma into the universe by saying that I fucking like it. It objectively, it is fucking one of the most horrifying movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like I said, if I'll never watch it again unless I'm forced to, and if I will immediately shower after.
Yeah. It's like, man, did I miss one? Hold on, let me look. Is it kind of? Hold on. I did. Wow. All right. Yeah, I'll mention that real quick. But, yeah, it's just it's a weird movie. Like, I've never seen a plot like that. I've never seen a plot like that, and you don't get to the plot till like later on. And like I said, when the plot is like revealed, you're like, oh, that's pretty mean. Like,
Yeah, it's fucking mean as fuck, dude.
that's pretty mean spirited. Fucking, like,
Yeah.
whoever made this. And I think later on, he made a movie that would make my list for the next 10 years, which was man, what was that? Ghost happening in a ghost town, or an incident in a ghost land. Did you guys watch that?
Ghostland?
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
fucking.
I've heard good things. I've never seen it.
Oh, it's on
Yeah.
Netflix. It's fucking really good.
Yeah.
Like that, it would be my top 10 for the next decade.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
I've heard good shit. Yeah.
yeah, it's unbelievable. But here's one that I totally forgot. Dead Girl, Trent Haga.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was. Did you watch that one, Mike?
I did not.
That is.
I saw it.
You want to talk about uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I know the plot. I don't want to like speak out of fucking turn here because I haven't seen the movie, so I don't, but from what I've read of the plot, it seems pretty fucking grimy.
Yeah, like, just like, I mean, I think the synopsis is just these kids discover a dead girl,
Yes.
but she's not really decomposing.
Yeah.
And they start doing weird, shit to her. So, yeah. So that movie, yeah, I'll add that to my list, because that talking to that director was like a really big highlight. He did a lot of cool things, and Dead Girl was one of those really uncomfortable movies. So, all right, man. As they say in the business, you've said it all.
Nice. C'est la vie.
We've said it all, Mike. I love you, man. It's always.
Yeah, man. Good to see you, dude.
Dude, boys, fucking nothing but love. Thank you for having me as always. It's fucking a pleasure. Anytime I'll fucking do whatever. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, we're gonna do top 5 My Little Pony episodes next episode. So
I have that list written already. Actually,
we can get into it right now.
Yeah.
I don't need a list.
That in the
I gotta
camera.
write that down.
But yeah, man. Off to some sadness right now. But,
give him all my love, brother. Please, I haven't seen him in a while. So
I will. So, guys,
boys, thank you so much for having me. I love you guys.
love you.
Hey guys.
Bye.
Peace.